yeah, and I've never been the other side of the road. So there's this whole other side of this one place that I've been to several times before, and I've got no idea how different it was. Like, there's this long path that we're walking down at the moment that I've never walked down, never been down, never noticed, and it's actually quite interesting. It's opened my eyes to different types of shots I could go for with people, so I do recommend exploring, even places that you've been to 101 times before. You can really get some interesting locations and different scenes of things, or different angles you didn't know existed before. There's just a gap in this path that opened up to nothing. Look how nice it is. I mean, it's a bit light over there at the moment, but that space over there, oh, face is gone. Yeah, just a whole different set of spaces that I hadn't been to before, or thought about shooting in, or working in, or working around. It's definitely something I need to concentrate more on doing when I get to places. Yeah. So, as I said, it's interesting how you can go to somewhere several times over the span of something and it still be new. So I've been to High Elm several times, and that's where I like doing some of my portrait shoots and filming, and well, not filming, but it's got a nice series of things. You've got a nice set of landscape shots, and you've got a nice set of, you can make really nice personal images. There's always some wildlife, there's always different trees and plants and growth, but I'd never been the other side of the road and wandered around there, so exploring that whilst I'm waiting for my shoot to start, although I've got a funny feeling it might not go ahead because of the rain, but yeah. How are we all doing? We're in that July heat wave at the moment, middle end of July. Oh, got a new cupboard, little place to keep some things. It does interfere with my prints and photos a bit, but I need a bit more storage. It's very sweaty, too sweaty for this shirt to be honest, but I wanted to be approved. Neglected the photo side of my videos, my bad. So we're going to go back over a few. You might notice in the next few videos, although I'm not sure the order they're going to go out in, that we're in the same clothes, same setup, everything's going to be the same. Because I'm going to bang out a few today, because I've got a busy week coming up, and I've got some free time, and I've got a busy week, and I've got some free time. So we're going to work on that basis. So, exploring. Why did I make this video? I think it's important to push yourself, both mentally, a little bit physically, and skill wise as well. So starting off with the mental side of things, it can be a bit nerve-wracking going somewhere that you've not been before and exploring areas that you don't know and trying to create work or create images out of it. But I think just by doing even small detours of things, so in both of these videos, or both of these sections of the clip, because they are from two different places, I went to High Elms, and I've gone for a wander around High Elms. I've been there several times before. I know different routes, different bits of it, and I know my way around. And I was running early for a shoot, as I think I mentioned in the video, and I decided I'd go down a road that I hadn't been down before. I'd cross the road outside High Elms and followed the path there, and there's just these whole other fields and a whole other series of shots and different locations that I hadn't seen before, hadn't thought of looking into, and just explored it there for a bit. Went on a wander before the shoot and came up with some ideas for future shoots. Some that I'm going to apply soon on a couple of shoots that I've got coming up. Again, during one of my one-to-one sessions where I'm teaching people photography in person, which is quite an exciting thing. It's quite nice to do. Starting off small, it's a relatively new aspect of what I'm doing, but working on one-to-ones. Went round again this field. It's in a big circular route. It's not too difficult to know where you are, but there was just a pathway that I hadn't been down before, and I thought, well, there's some interesting things. As you've just seen, there's like some cows and some buildings, and then we just walked that route, just that path round, keeping a mental note of where I'd been. So if things went funny, I'd got completely lost. I don't know where I am globally. I at least know that if I walk back that way, I come back to this field, and then when I go out to this field, I follow this particular path until I get to this gate, go through across the gate. All public land and all public routed, the National Trust routes or whatever it is. I can't remember all the names. I don't really pay attention to them. I just look for the little logos, detour off and back in, follow it down, and you're just back to where you were. But then this is going to apply to later things. So when I make the Newquay video, I'm going to do like an exploring part 2, which is, I've never been to Newquay. I've been to Bude and I've explored there a few times, but I've not been to Newquay sort of thing, that part of Cornwall specifically. So the whole thing's going to be new, and obviously a town's a town. They're all the same in the idea of housing areas, supermarket area, high streets, the beach. The idea of the beach is the same the world over. You come to the edge of the land space and you are met with the sea. There is still things to explore and to imagine there, but it's a whole new place. I don't know how the water works. I don't know how the locals are. I don't know how which fields are public access and which ones are private and which ones are routed through the National Trust, as it were. So that'll be interesting, and it's by practicing it in areas that I'm comfortable in, hopefully that'll make exploring areas that I don't know easier. Challenges you visually to photograph things, because you're suddenly coming across different stimulances that you didn't have before. You can get quite stale photographing things that you already know and places that you already know and people you already know. If you photograph the same thing over and over and over again, eventually you'll just end up taking the same sort of photo. So going to new places and experience different things will open up your eye again to seeing different places and seeing different ways of getting images or creating a narrative, or even just being present in a new space or a new field. There might be so on the route, not the High Elms route, but on this other one, came up past this patch, and there's this whole load of because of the heat wave that was coming up. It was a few days before. You went past the field and there's lots of dying grass, and it's not dying, it's just dehydrated and being turned into hay or whatever. And you're walking along and it's just, as far as the eye can see, just fields like this. And then the path turns into this little bit of a woodland, and then there's like a little lavender field. Not a lavender field specifically, I don't think it's specifically been grown as lavender, I think there's just a little patch of it. Well, that was kind of, again, just that visual stimulus of suddenly going, nothing, ooh, pretty. It wasn't pretty enough in my view, or the things that I am interested in taking, to warrant taking specific photos of it. It was too far away. It was in, as I said, it was wildly growing, as it were, so it was in this bit of thistles and things, and a bit further back, but just the sun hit to your brain, so oh, that's actually quite an interesting little colour blend. But carried on walking past, got very interested in the cows. That definitely took my attention for a bit, and then just little bits of nature, like dry leaves and sticks, and the colour blends between the browns and the greens. It's quite nice. Yeah, exploring I think is a big part of developing an interest. It gives you a location for later if you're doing portraits or people. If I know who that field belongs to, I can go and ask the farmers or the landowners, would you like a portrait with this as a background, and we'll photograph it like this, and did you know that there's this over here that might be an interesting composition. It gives you routes to go down. But yeah, I think that's the main body of exploring there. I think I say in the part 2 to this, we'll talk about exploring Newquay once I've been and come back and edited and put some bits out. we talk about exploring Newquay and exploring somewhere new for the first time, and how that felt and how that worked and how that has developed an opinion or changed an opinion or worked on an opinion. And I think that's a good thing to talk about. I'd like to hear your comments and thoughts on exploring and photography in new places. How have you dealt with looking at new places? You know, how does that affect you? How confident are you to go out and look at new places? I think that'd be something interesting to talk about. Bye.